Welcome everyone to Sama Saturday. We have an exciting show today. I'm very, very grateful to have these two, well, should I say four beautiful souls with us. This is Robin and Michael Mastro, and Teddy and Harry Mastro as well. And we are going to be taking you through in this session today a ritual. And because it's the new year, we thought this was the perfect time to do something with them and really bring it into also the tradition of yoga, which of course is a huge part of SamaDog. By the way, my name is Amanda Ree. I'm the founder of SamaDog. And for those of you newer to our world and into our channel, what we do is every Saturday at 10 a.m. we bring you a show called Sama Saturday. And it's really bringing healthy, natural, and spiritual living into the lives with our dogs. So today what we're doing is creating a ritual, creating an altar for 2020 with our dogs, for our dogs and ourselves as well. So these lovely beings are, as I mentioned, Michael and Robin Mastro. They are North America's leaders in Vastu Shastra. And this is the first science of environmental health, harmony, and well-being. So this is a practice that is rooted in the Vedic tradition of India. And you could understand it, or maybe some of you have even heard of it, as the mother of Feng Shui. Likely more of you are familiar with that practice, but it's through Vastu that Feng Shui came, and I'm sure they'll share a little bit about that as well. So they are authors, they are educators, they are absolute experts in their field. We will give you lots of additional resources as well to get to know them and their work, and even more importantly, be able to bring a ritual just like this into your home. So you'll have all kinds of parts and pieces at the end of this experience that you can get access to as well. So let's welcome our wonderful guests. Thank you guys so much for doing this with us and for your great work in this world.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. So tell me first, tell all of us first, what is Vastu? What is this practice?
So Vastu is the environmental science, and as you said, it's the mother of Feng Shui, that allows you to figure out where energy is getting stuck in any room and any house and any office, and teaches you how to eliminate that stress that will affect different parts of your pet's life, their behavioral health and their stress level and how their spiritual nature and how well they're grounded and whether they're having trouble focusing, and it just goes into every aspect of their life. And so we again just look at an environment and see where that energy is getting stuck, and then we find out ways to get that energy flowing so that dogs feel very supported in their environment.
And the people who live
and the people
with the
and their
Yes.
the dogs and their or the pets and their parents.
And the rest of the pack.
Yes.
Because we had Michael and Robin come over, maybe 2 months ago or so, and do an assessment and a, what do you call it actually?
Consult.
A consult?
Yes.
And work our place, our home, gave many suggestions of what to move and where to put certain things in locations. And what I found, one of the things that I had noticed prior to them coming over, was that we were having a lot of accidents, like little accidents, like bumping, stubbing toes, bumping into things. I was all bruised up.
Sure.
I think I had a couple toes wrapped.
Sure.
Renee had recently fallen and had a major accident. So we were a little clumsy. We were in like this awkward phase, obviously a bit of imbalance going on. So not only did that clear, which I've shared with you guys, which was wonderful, and we're all in one piece, but I did notice how it affected the pack.
Yes.
They got along a lot better.
Harmony
The new
between
dogs that were coming over fell into comfort more easily and quickly. And our feisty dog, Graham, the gray one, he's probably the most sensitive and a little cranky sometimes, and he has not been like that ever since.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I had no idea how strongly something like this could affect our space and our lives and so many aspects of it. So very cool.
Wonderful.
So when you guys, before we get into this specific altar,
Sure.
when you guys are working with people like us, you've
Yes.
come into the home,
Yes.
you assess, it's guided with the 5 elements, and you
Yes.
help placement to, as you said, help support anything really that they need in their life. But
Yeah.
are there some primary categories, like health and what else?
Yes, so each of the 5 elements is related to a specific direction or area of the house. And for example, the water element is in the northeast area of the house. And everything's made of energy, and that our bodies are made of energy, and our house and office is made of energy. And that energy is made of those 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. So water represents growth, and it can be prosperity, it can be abundance, and in terms of your pets, their natural growth. And in the fire element is in the southeast area of your home. That has to do with the basic health of the pets, and it can affect, if that fire element is out of balance, it can affect their anxiety, and they're also these directions are also related to the dosha types. So the fire part of the house, the Agni part of the house, that's the southeast, is if it's out of balance, it can affect the Pitta dosha type, and aggravate the Pitta dosha type. And then the northwest has to do with the air element and related to the Vata dosha. And again, if it's out of balance for some reason, then the Vata dosha can be exacerbated in your pet. And then the 4th area is the southwest. That's the earth element. Earth element is related to Kapha. And so this can, if it's out of balance, the dog or the pets may not feel grounded, and so there's ways to restore that balance. And then and again, the water element is also Kapha. So there are many tips that we'll give on how to balance those different areas. Now, the very center of a room or a house is the space element, Akasha. And so that's the ether element, and that is related to none of the dosha types, but if it's out of balance for some reason, then it can affect all the dosha types and the feelings of everyone in the house, parents and pets.
Makes sense. And it reminds me too to just share that on their website, it's Vastu, that's V as in Victor, VASTU creations.com. I'll share it with the video, of course, but vastucreations.com. If you go there, down a little ways, there's a great video of Michael on the Dr. Oz show. And they show some graphics in the beginning of how the house lays out and where the elements are. And that's always helpful to see a visual as well. So, okay, so show us what we can create here together. And I know this is about, Robin will share, I think, more about what this specific altar is.
Well, this is a health altar, and I wanted to give a little history on altars in general, and also this specific kind of altar, because this is a very unique kind of altar. In most cultures in the world, you see altars. They're everywhere. People use the altars to focus their intention, to support their connection to the divine. And many years ago, we took this home that we found in Seattle, and we were renovating it according to Vastu. And at the same time, we were traveling in India with our spiritual leader. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is the head of the Art of Living Foundation, which is the largest non-governmental organization in the world. Its focus is purely on service to humanity. And there are over millions of people that have taken this course on how to reduce the stress in the mind, body, and spirit. And so we were traveling with the guru from Bangalore all the way up to Rishikesh, and everywhere we stopped, it was kind of like we were like a traveling circus, because every place we stopped, it was like the city closed down, and everybody came into the streets to celebrate him there. And there was several places along the way where we were in these ginormous stadiums where there was like 250,000 people. In Delhi, there was millions of people in the street. It was somewhat exciting and also terrifying. But everywhere we went, there was sacred ceremony, pujas, yagyas happening, and just the daily honoring of families in their connection to the divine. I've seen all these sacred sites where altars are used, and I thought, what if I take the most powerful aspects of the Vastu and create small environments that I saw as like an altar that could be as small as a nightstand or as large as like a stage or a room. And so I started utilizing these principles of the placement of earth, water, air, fire, and space in a very specific way, and changed people's existing altars and also created new ones for people, and people's lives started changing. So actually our first book, which is called
Altars of Power and Grace. This is a
Altars
beautiful
of
book.
Power and Grace, is actually based on my graduate work in whole systems design.
So when we are looking to create an altar, we theme it toward an intention. That's of course why this time of year is a great time to do it as well.
Right.
And then this specific altar, because it involves our dogs, it can involve the humans too?
It definitely can involve everybody in the family, and also those who are not in the family but who you represent on the altar. This altar is in the east direction. Each of the 8 directions in an environment are associated with a specific aspiration. So the east is related to health, and there are specific colors and metals that are also used on the altar to represent that area. In the east, it is yellow and white. Those are the colors that you want to have placed on the altar, and the metal is gold. So you'll see all of that on this altar. And it doesn't need to be every item, it just needs to be represented somewhere on the altar. The most important piece about this altar, there's actually 2, is that it needs to make you see it as beautiful. When you look at it, it needs to touch your heart. You need to go, oh my God, I love this. That's the key, that altar is really yours and not just,
Like logic placed on a table.
Right. It has to feed you emotionally. It has to strike a chord in you. You have to love it. And in the beginning, you may not have all the pieces you love, but I say set that up with what you do have and then go out shopping. And I found these altar pieces in like junk stores, in crazy little stores somewhere. Sometimes I would just go into like the kitchen section of a Chinese grocery store looking for little bowls and little objects. So you can find them in the most unique places.
So we need a little representation of each of the elements.
Each of the elements. And the way you want to set it up is that you want your taller elements in the back, so you have to look at the direction that they're going to be in as well, so that you don't get something that blocks in the front what you have going on in the back. So it does kind of graduate down to the front of the altar. And usually when I'm creating these altars, I'm in the front of the altar, but I wanted to make sure that everybody sees what we're doing here. So
I'm going to zoom in a little bit.
Sure. Let's just begin with the table that is placed on. This is just like a little end table, but it's about the size of a lot of nightstands as well. And I mean, I even have made traveling altars that were about that big. So the size can be, this size, bigger. It could actually, I've done altars that were entire rooms. I've done altars for companies where they're doing a big audience and they want the entire stage to be represented as an altar. So it can be very small or very large. This isn't a health altar. Health altars go in the east. The water element goes in the northeast. And the northeast, this being a vase, the thing about having flowers in it, make sure the flowers are either silk or alive, never dried flowers. Dried flowers are dead. You want your dreams to be as alive and your flowers to be as alive as your dreams. So you kind of want something living or something beautiful in silk. I've added water, even though these are silk, because it still is the water element. The water needs to be seen, so the vase can be clear or translucent. In the southeast is the fire element. We actually have one of these battery-operated candles here, just to be safe with the animals running around. But you can use a regular candle as well. You can even use one of those Himalayan salt lamps here. So it's fire, electricity. That's this area is the southeast. In the southwest is earth, which is represented here by a bowl of uncooked white rice. It could be anything that represents earth. It could be crystals. It could be a small plant. Some people actually put dirt in there if they don't have, they have a little container with dirt. So that works. It's something of the earth.
Could be a rock that you found on a hike, or some rock that one of your dogs picked up for some reason. So.
And then the northwest is the air element, and that's sound or scent, things that float in the air. It could be feathers, it could be wind chimes, it could be incense. Incense could be actually used for the southeast as well, because even though it floats in the air, it's also ignited by fire. So in the center is the space element, and this is actually where you're going to put your intention. And then because this is kind of like a homing device for your highest intentions to come into physical form. So the center is the element that just opens you up to the divine. In the back, we put what we call our personal symbol. And here is just a picture of Harry and Teddy on my birthday one year. And Amanda asked, why this picture? And it was like, most of our pictures of the dogs is that they're wiggling around and it's always out of focus. This was actually one where they were faced forward, so that's kind of...
We need a family photo. We could take one today if you want.
That would work. Yeah. So after we set the altar up, you can, one of the things, you can also use something to place underneath it. We're just using a piece of a sari that I, years ago, in that house that we had been renovating, which was, God, that's got to be 10 years ago, I bought this beautiful sari in India, and I had it made into curtains for the room. And this was just a remnant, so we've kept it, and I've always loved it. That's what we're using to cover the table. So after we set it up, then we do the process. We're gonna ignite the altar.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Does Harry want to come over here?
I'm gonna come over here. We'll go this
Come
way.
on. We're going to witness the igniting.
Okay. So first we turn on the.
Yes.
You can light your candle or turn it on, and then we always want to ring the bell.
So the first thing you do is write down whatever your intention is for the new year. And you can see that we've written here on the back of a card, good health for our family and our pets. And then there's a specific yantra that we'll give you a link to that you can place on your altar as well. So yantras are a visual representation of a mantra or a sound. Everything has a vibration to it. And these specific yantras that we use have 9 squares in the middle. They have certain colors that have vibration, and they have shapes. And all the shapes represent one or more of the 5 elements. A circle is the air element, a square is the earth element, a triangle pointing down is the water element, a triangle pointing up is the fire element, and then the dot in the middle is the space element. And then there's 9 squares in the middle that will have Sanskrit numbers. These numbers add up diagonally and horizontally and vertically to a specific coefficient or frequency of energy that's related to whatever we want that yantra to signify or influence. In this specific case, it's health, and it represents the sun energy, the energy of the sun. That without the energy of the sun, there would be no life on this planet, and it's very supportive of our health. So all of that goes, the start of the process, we hold this particular intention to our heart, and we start taking long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. You can start with a cleansing breath. Just take a deep breath in and let go all the cares of the day. You can take another deep breath in and hold it. Breathing love deep into your heart and letting go as you breathe out of any fear, doubt, or grief. And now, as you continue your breath, as you breathe in, fill every particle of your being with the sense that whatever you wrote down on the piece of paper has already happened. Feel that gratitude, joy, and fulfillment in every cell of your being. Everybody in your family, your pets, and the rest of the family members are all very healthy and happy and prosperous. If there's any doubt, breathe the light of your love into that area. You are worthy of being loved and having what you want, having good health, having prosperity, and having harmony in your home. And now you can take the piece of paper and place it in the very center of the altar, which is the space element that connects you to the divine energy to manifest your desires. And the next part is we're going to ignite the altar. Now, we use Gomukhi Mudra, which is the mudra of intention. Bring your attention to your intention. And so we just take the thumb and bring in the 2 middle fingers, so the pointer finger and the baby finger are sticking out. And we're going to chant a mantra 9 times and point towards the center of the altar. And the mantra is Om Gum, like chewing gum, Ganapatiye Namaha. Ganapatiye is Ganesh. Ganesh removes the obstacles so your desires can manifest. So we'll do that together. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. 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 You can relax your hands. Take another deep breath in and hold it. And as you breathe out, surrender all those intentions to the divine. It's in divine time and hands for the divine to organize nature to fulfill those desires. So the process is very simple. Basically, you write down your intentions on a piece of paper. You organize your altar so that water is always in the northeast part of the altar, fire in the southeast, earth element, something representing earth in the southwest, and something representing air in the northwest. And then the very center is where you make your offering, and then you have that focal point of the picture of your family or your pets. And then you hold the piece of paper to your heart, feel like it already happened in your body, you offer it, you chant the mantra 9 times, and then you take a deep breath in and give it to God. So it's a very powerful process. It really only takes about a minute, And it's a great way to start the day to set your intentions for the new year.
And a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there have been people who have said, my altar's just not working for me anymore. So it's okay.
Maybe that happened to Harry.
That happened to Harry. So I would suggest when you stop having a feeling, when you're feeling like your altar is not working as well as it should or as you would like it, take all the pieces off, clean the altar, and then place the pieces back, and then reignite the altar. But it's also a really good focal point for you to spend time each day doing your meditation or your journaling or your yoga, whatever your spiritual work is. And I also tell people not to build more than a couple altars at a time, because they do work and they work very effectively. And sometimes people that build like an altar in every direction, so much stuff is going on, they don't know which altar is doing what. So
they need an altar to bring calmness and ease to their life.
So it's probably best to start with 1 or 2 altars to get a sense of the motion of the altar and the shift and changes that occur. And then if you want to add altars, you can break one down and add another one, or if you're really comfortable with the energy that it's creating, you can add another altar. But I would say less is more at this point, once you get comfortable with the energy changing.
So at this point, I would just want to take a little review of the 5 elements and how they relate to the pets, basically. So water element, again, that's the kapha, and it's more the spiritual part of the pet's life, the spiritual body, and it relates to the 2nd chakra, the sex chakra. And so how you can help support your dog, there are different ways, like for kapha, Harry's a kapha. He's just a little bit slow and very stable and very patient, very, very patient dog. And so Amanda has given him a little carnelian and a sandalwood bead, and these stones and seeds help to balance that kapha nature. They give him a little bit of energy, basically. And so you can use stones to help balance, and seeds, and there are also herbs like ginger, and scents like frankincense that will support that water element for pets. And then having some moving water in the northeast part of your house, and it can even be a little doggy fountain. So this will help bring abundance for the family and balance the kapha dispositions in the family members who have a kapha disposition. Then the southeast has to do again with the fire or the Agni element and the Pitta nature. And Teddy, he's more Vata? Or is he more
he's
Pitta?
Pitta.
Pitta. Okay, so Amanda on her website, she has these different things that help balance.
He's got so much jewelry.
He's got lapis lazuli.
There we go.
And he has
he has the sandalwood.
He has the Italian Rudraksha. Yeah,
so.
Rudraksha was for the spiritual and the balancing the kapha. Okay, so he's got the sandalwood and the lapis lazuli to kind of balance out that pitta kind of anxious nature. And so that's very helpful for the stone. And then certain scents are good. Even having a little battery operated candle in the southeast part of the house, or a Himalayan salt lamp. Just put Himalayan salt lamps, put a little salt into the air, and they also absorb electromagnetic energies and things like that can affect the pitta nature of the dog. So pitta, types of issues that can come up affect anxiety, inflammation in the body, sleep issues, things like that. And then for the kapha, it's more the weight issues And also can be tumors and cancers and things like that are related to when the water element is out of balance. Okay, so for the Vata, which is the northwest part of the house, Vata is the air element, and the air element is related to your heart chakra. And so there are certain stones and scents and things that will help balance that in the environment. But basically for Vadas, a SamaDog has little things that you can put on their collar, which is the tiger's eye, pearl would work, moonstone would work to kind of help balance that unfocused nature of Vata disposition. And also a tulsi seed would be helpful. And then chimes, bells, things like that would be feathers.
Incense.
Those help. Incense does help balance the air element. And mantra would be Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. Now Vata issues can be digestion. It can also be arthritis. It can be depression. Some dogs are depressed, and that's usually when the Vata element is out of balance. Anything to do with the respiratory system is also issues for dogs. Then the southwest is that earth element. Earth element in the southwest relates to the base chakra, and that's again the kapha, so we'd be using the same kind of stones, like Harry has the rudrash and the carnelian to help balance that kapha nature, give a little bit more energy. Kaphas can be a little bit slower, but they're very patient. And issues there in that southwest has to do again with anything to do with the body. Dental issues, anything to do with the bones, can be also arthritis, things like that. When the earth element is out of balance, they don't feel grounded, they don't feel supportive. I know they have these little body suits now for dogs to give them kind of feeling that comfort of being supported. And then having a plant. Now you got to be careful what kind of plants that are not good for pets, but usually Arcadia palms are good. They help balance the earth element in the southwest area of the house. And so yeah, I think those are the main things. And then I know Amanda on her website has certain mantras like Om Namah Shivaya, that kind of bring more harmony in the home. Even in chanting it very, very slowly, we have on our website, you can click on a long, slow Om Namah Shivaya, which balances all the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space, and all the chakras. So Om Na is the base chakra, Ma is the solar plexus, or the sex chakra, or the water element, and She is the heart chakra, or the solar plexus area, and then the throat chakra is Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Vaya, yeah, is that the heart chakra, and Namah is the space element. So all 5 elements, all 7 chakras, yeah. So yeah, so the pineal chakra and the crown chakra also get enlivened there. And so yeah, I think those are the main points, and we'll have a little chart for you that will show all the different parts of the house. But basically, yeah, having some moving water in the northeast will help balance that. Now there are 7 different ways that energy can get stuck, and when we look at a home or an office, the alignment, if it's aligned to the cardinal directions, then it's aligned to the longitudinal, latitudinal lines of the grid system, earthly grid system. Then it get good support from nature. So alignment is 1. Shape is very important. So you see this table is very rectangular. So energy flows very, very evenly in a rectangular shape. Now when you have parts of your house that stick out like the garage or indent where there's an entrance, it's just like a river is flowing, and when there's a bend in the river, some of that energy gets stuck and creates that anti-clockwise motion and can create some pollution. So stagnant water. So same thing when happens to the energy flow in the house. And so depending on where those missing corners or extensions are, they can affect different aspects of the family life. So in the Northeast, it could affect the abundance and the prosperity, the kapha energy. In the Southeast, it can affect the fire and the energy level, the anxiety and the pitta nature, and the health. And then in the Southwest, it can affect the earth element, which is our purpose. And many of you may have seen A Dog's Purpose or something like that. There's a movie that's a really beautiful movie about a dog and how they have purpose. Like when we leave the house, we always tell our dogs to take care of the chair. We don't want to give them a huge job, but just taking care of little part of the house.
Yeah.
And then in the Northwest, that's the air element, and that's the harmony. That's the relationships of everybody in the family and in the house. So, so if there's any energy getting stuck in the Northwest, that can affect the relationships. And then the space element is in the center. And if you have a furnace or a fireplace or a stove there, that can reduce that space element and affect all the areas of the life, the prosperity, the health, and the relationships, and the career or the purpose. So other ways energy can get stuck has to do with if there are not a lot of windows or doors in the Northeast. Northeast is called Ishanya, that's God's corner, that's where the solar and the magnetic energy come in that feed our health and our prosperity, and then that energy splits and moves around the house. So if there's not much, there's a lot of blockage there for some reason, then in Vastu we use these yantras to attract that missing or blocked energy. And then if you have a lot of doors and windows in the south or the west, a lot of that energy can leak out. The health will leak out and you can feel tired. It can also leak prosperity out, so you have lots of expenses. And then in the other thing that affects energy flow is clutter. So things that aren't organized, areas of your house, could even be a closet. So if there's some clutter in the garage and that's in the Northwest, that can affect the harmony of the family. So, and it can affect the pets and their behavioral issues. So yeah, just look in the different areas of the house, see where there might be some clutter affecting their health, affecting their relationships, affecting their growth, their spiritual growth, which is the Northeast, and then their purpose in the Southwest. The final way energy can get stuck is was talked about in the Vedas. It's called earth energies, and it has to do with underground streams, underground channels, fault lines, things like that. And those are things that you don't really see, but they can affect the animals, especially are very, very attuned to those kinds of energies. And so Vastu gives you tips to protect yourself from those energies. Now in more modern times we have electromagnetic frequencies. There are microwave towers everywhere, you have these, now it's 5G, so you're going to have a lot more electromagnetic energies, and a lot of humans and especially pets are very sensitive to those electromagnetic energies. So on our website we have some things that you can plug in the wall that will transform those electromagnetic energies into something that pets and humans can handle more easily. And otherwise it can really affect your sleep, it can affect your immune system, etc.
Yeah.
So
we've done a session, a Sama Saturday session with Dr. Kangas all about them.
Oh,
and specifically pets and cell disruption and what that does.
Sure.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and it's going to be more and more of an issue. So there are a lot of different ways you can do that. But basically in Vastu, what we're doing is finding out where that energy gets stuck due to shape, due to, placement also I didn't talk about. So toilets are a water element, and if they're, say, in the fire area, that's fire reducing water affecting health. And then maybe in the water element you have a stove or a fireplace, that's water. Fire reducing water, that can affect the spiritual growth, that can affect the kapha energy. And earth element is affected by fire and water, so stoves and wash machines and things like that are placed in the southwest can also affect that kapha nature. Northwest can handle fire and water. Air and fire are friendly, so no issues there. But space element, if you have some big fireplace or some heating furnace in the middle, that reduces space element. So placement is very, very important. Mm-hmm. So again, we use yantras. We don't ask you to pick up your toilet and move it to a different part of the house or the stove. They're, without any structural changes, Vastu can move that stuck energy. Because it's all energy anyway.
And that's part of the process when they came over to our house and did the assessment. That's what they did, was go around and use the yantras in order to create those better flows in some of the places where we kind of had an odd cutout or a build out afterwards, which really didn't match the rest of the house and things like that. And they have been so generous also to give all of us and all of you some resources to be able to do this. So we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but if you will email them, and I will share this as well, but it's Robin at Vastu Creations, and I'll put that on the video so you guys can see that yourselves. But if you will email them, and you will then receive a mantra, it's an activating mantra for health to be able to start with your altar, and you will receive a yantra as well as a handout that specifically ties in this work with our animal friends. So lots of good stuff there if you guys give them an email, and they'll send that back with some links.
Yeah, and we'll send you a little diagram of how to set the altar up as well.
Fantastic.
And give you a 20% coupon to if you wanted to get an online Vastu consultation, no matter where you are in the world. Today I'm working on with someone in Iceland and in Russia. Wow. They send me a little sketch, and I can analyze where the energy is getting stuck and how it's affecting that family, and then I send them these little yantras that can be placed inconspicuously to get that stuck energy to start moving again without actually even going there. So it works really well. I do it for people all over the world every day.
Fascinating. Well, that's wonderful to know. And because they're such animal lovers, clearly that's why they're taking the time to do this with us, because they really believe in this work and they love their fur babies like we do. And because of that, you know that you can involve that in the conversation that you would have with Michael and how to help your animal friends as well. Anything that might be going on, health challenges or just disharmony in the pack or anything like that that might be happening, get some support. So thank you two so much. Thank you so much. We love your work and your beautiful hearts. And as I mentioned earlier, also their book, if you're just interested in the topic of Vastu, let's show that again. And it's altars. Oh, there's a couple books. Fantastic. So here's one called The Way of Vastu. And then the other one, Altars of Power and Grace. So you guys can find those on Amazon and other bookstores as well. All right, well, we will stay in touch and we will hopefully get all of you your materials. Thank you so much for watching today. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.